can't feel my face. Coffee spilling all over the place. Forgot the sticks, we're turning around. Another weekend in some hockey town. With a pucked up parents, frozen toes, big hearts, bad luck. With a pucked up parents, one more tourney, one more puck. We're broke, we're loud, we love this grind. Cause our kid just scored and we lost our minds.
Greetings and welcome to Pucked Up Parents. We are at episode 30. I am Michael. I'm stoked. I just walked out of a movie theater and saw He-Man. Holy cow. If you listen to the show with any regularity, you know I'm a kid of the 80s. Angela and I are kids of the 80s. And I got to see He-Man. So let's get this going. With me as always is my She-Ra. Angela, how you doing? I guess that's wrong. He-Man,
Oh,
brother and sister.
I was gonna say they're siblings, aren't they? I don't know that much about He-Man, but anyways, I'm Angela, and we are the Pucked Up Parents. We have been youth hockey parents for the last 12 years, came into the sport and being hockey parents with absolutely no knowledge of hockey. We are first generation hockey parents. Our kids are first generation hockey players, and we are in a non-traditional hockey town, but we have built our own community around hockey and want to share some of those experiences with you.
And we're not here to talk strategies or drills or getting your kid to the NHL. We're here to take a lighthearted approach and discuss our analysis of youth hockey, the parents, the rinks, the travel, the hotels, everything that goes in between that you don't hear about from the coaches and from the organization. So, Angela, with that said, let's get into what happened last week in hockey. What did we have?
Well, I believe Henry had a little roller hockey tournament and also was on the ice with his coach for next season with a little training program, just kind of a Sunday morning, have some fun kind of thing. And our oldest is, of course, still playing beer league, doing some Sunday scrimmages and other workouts along those lines.
Now, the beer league team lost a late night 10:30 p.m. game. I think they lost by 1 point. And a lot of time spent between the brothers. Our 18-year-old has spent a lot of time with the 12-year-old. They actually went to some stick time together. It's good to see them bonding before he heads off to college. Angela, what did we talk about last week? And I kind of want to wrap this into your week this week. So, what did we talk about last week and what
We
happened?
talked about travel troubles, and I think it was destiny. We talked about travel troubles,
Pissed
and
off,
then I had a work
pissed off,
trip.
you pissed off the airline gods. So,
I did. I must have pissed off the airline gods because let me tell you, it wasn't a hockey trip, it was a work trip, but I think I was traveling for somewhere in the neighborhood of about 22 hours this week, consecutive 22 hours. Because of canceled flights, weather issues. In fact, I was on a plane. My connecting flight flew from the airport we were leaving here home to Cincinnati. We literally were descending into the Cincinnati airport when they said, "Oh no, sorry, there are tornadoes nearby. The tower has been evacuated. We're taking you all back to Charlotte."
so it sounded like a parent. If you kids don't settle down, I'm gonna turn this car around. And I pulled up the flight tracker. It was like 1 in the morning. We were in the basement because there were tornadoes in the area. Luckily, we didn't have any damage here. But I did pull out the old flight tracker, and I'm like, wait, it says leave Charlotte this time and arrive in Charlotte this time. What the hell's going on? Now I look at the little map, and I saw where you guys made the big circle. So yeah, I think we pissed off the travel guides with our little episode, and he took vengeance on your flight from Charlotte to Cincinnati last Wednesday. So with that said, let's discuss what we're gonna get into today. What do you have?
Which, hey, you know what? This ties in too. We're going to talk about some hockey traditions, routines, and superstitions. Maybe I should now have a travel superstition where I don't talk badly about travel nightmares before a trip.
Maybe sacrifice a bag of peanuts or, one of those tiny pillows or something in the driveway. We have a little seance.
Yeah, something. Let's talk about some of the crazy. Hockey is known as a sport with a lot of crazy traditions and superstitions. So, wanted to talk a little bit about that today. When you start seeing and hearing these things, you kind of know that it seems weird, but it's pretty normal for hockey.
I'm not a sports parent. I mean, I don't consider myself a sports parent. I didn't play organized sports, so this shit's all wild to me. I've heard about it in the majors, of course, but Angela, what the puck am I doing? Let's talk about rules and rituals of youth and other hockey. Go.
I want to start out by talking about some hockey traditions. Some of those more typical things you're going to see at a lot of different levels, a lot of different games, things like the stick tap. Most of the time, you clap or you hoop or you holler or whatever. When something good happens, well, in hockey, the players will tap their sticks on the ice instead of clapping or doing some of the other celebration things that other sports teams do. You'll see this when, hey, great job. You're going to see the stick tapping or the banging the stick on the walls at the bench. They will tap their stick to try to hype up their team. They'll also tap their stick when the injured player gets up and gets off the ice. I think that's a really, really common hockey tradition.
As the person footing the bill for those sticks, I, cringe when they beat those sticks up against the wall or even hard against the ice 'cause, just a little crack will compromise a stick, right? I mean, I get the tradition, but can we, like, I don't know, take the gloves off and snap our fingers or,
Oh, yeah, because that's what a bunch of hockey players are gonna do is take their gloves off and start doing the little finger snap thing. Yeah,
wait,
no, I
wait.
let's stick with the stick tap.
All right, well, as long as they don't break the stick doing it. And then you also have the routine of the handshake line, which I think is great in hockey. I think they still do it in the NHL. You don't see this anymore in major sports, like Major League Baseball. I watched the game the other night. The game was over. They all lined up, but they all were lining up for themselves. The winning team was just high fiving each other. So this is really not something that happens in other sports. I know it happens in college sports and more in school sports, but not in the majors, the handshake line, but it's always you're gritting your teeth if it's been a tough game and it's been a little heated that, who's gonna get laid out in the handshake line.
Well, thankfully, that doesn't happen that often, but I think it is a great tradition. I know it happens in especially like youth sports like baseball and soccer. I think they do the handshake line, but I think it's really a hockey tradition to do the handshake line, congratulate the other players. Hey, great game, well played, that kind of thing. But I think one of the really interesting things about hockey is that in the handshake line, the goalie goes first. They always line up behind the goalie. And I think that's really symbolic of how important the goalie is to the team.
I can recall a game where it was, again, I go back to being super heated and you're always anticipating the fight in the line, and I'm watching on, like, a parent feed because 'cause I'm sitting at home watching or I'm out. I don't know where I was. It was a super heated game, and I'm like, "There's some shit gonna go down in this line, I know for sure." And damned if the video didn't cut off right when that goalie slapped the other goalie's hand, and then you were texting me like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna say the kid's name, got in a fight in the handshake line." I'm like, "Damn it, they cut the feed before I could see the handshake line fight."
Again, that's more of the exception rather than the rule. And I think one of the other things that goes along with this, oftentimes you'll see players after they come out of that handshake line with the other team, they'll go over and shake hands with the refs and the officials on the ice, and maybe even the other coaches. And I think that's a great thing for the kids. It shows respect. It shows respect for everybody on the ice, and I think that's a great tradition. If you start seeing that, or if you encourage your kids to do it.
And let's stick to the end of the game because it's true. You get the handshake line, you get the handshakes, which are good. We encourage all of you to encourage your children to shake the hands of the ref. Again, no matter how heated the game was, no matter if they think the guy made a bad call or not, just show some respect. The game's over. They're not going to reverse it. Have your kids skate over, glove off, and shake the referee's hand. Agree with that, Angela?
Absolutely, because guess what? If those refs aren't there, the game doesn't happen. You're not gonna have a game without the refs, so like it or not, they're there for you, and, I think it shows a great respect to go over and go, "Hey, ref, thanks for being here, appreciate your work out there."
And I'm not a super religious guy, but I've seen this and I respect this as well. The prayer circle at the end of the game. Again, we've seen 2 teams go at it, heated teams. A heated rival of ours does this quite a bit. A team that we quote unquote hate, and at the end of the game, our boys, their boys will skate to the middle and take a knee and have a little prayer. I'm not a super religious guy. I went to Catholic school. It's there, but total respect. It actually shows the kids bonding together. 2 different teams that went at it for an hour and a half, actually having a moment together at the end of the game. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's kind of go backwards and go to the beginning of the game. You don't see this a lot in the youth games, but as they get into high school and maybe some of those tournaments where the national anthem is played prior to the start of the game or maybe start of the tournament, and you will see the players lined up on their blue line on the ice. And towards the end of the national anthem, they all raise their sticks in the air. And at the end, they bring their stick down in one collective stick tap, essentially. And I think that's a really cool tradition and really cool to watch that happen.
It's right there where they do, like, the home of the brave at the very end, and the home
Yes.
and the home.
Yeah, please don't sing. We don't wanna lose followers.
Is the stick getting raised during "O Canada," or do you recall? It's been a while since we played Canadian teams.
I was gonna say it's been a minute since we played any Canadian teams. Maybe if we have some Canadian listeners out there, let us know, but that's definitely one of those traditions, down here in the US.
Alright, so that's at the beginning of the game. Let's talk about it in the middle of the game. If you didn't follow hockey, you are aware of this, the old hat trick. And what are you supposed to do during a hat trick, which is completely stupid in my opinion? Angela.
Well, if a player again, let's define a hat trick. So a hat trick is when 3 goals are scored by 1 player during a single game, and it's called a hat trick or often a hattie. And the tradition is, and I believe this started probably in the NHL, is when that player scores their 3rd goal, you throw your hat on the ice.
Am I getting my hat back? Like, that's a
I
brand
don't
new hat, $40 and I'm gonna chunk it on the ice? Is it wrong to go to the
well,
after the game and be like, "Hey, the Cincinnati Reds hat, that one's mine. Can I get it back?"
yeah, that beanie with the big puffball on the top,
"Yeah,
that's
that's
yours?
mine." Toboggan. It's a
Or
called
you go ask for your toboggan and they look at you like you're crazy?
Alright, what else do you have? Your next one seems like it's more mature, so to speak. What's that?
Well, so in the NHL, a lot of times the players will have what's called the playoff beard. So essentially, they are growing their facial hair for the duration of the playoff series. It's called a playoff beard. But I think sometimes our kids, at least I know our oldest at one point, was doing the hockey hair thing and just didn't get a haircut for a really long time. So I think that's how it translates on the youth side.
I don't know. I've seen some of these 12-year-olds, they can grow playoff beards. There's some big kids out there. Some of you people out there, you're raising big kids who can grow beard. I can't grow a beard. Mine's all patchy and everything, so it would be terrible. But some of these 12 U's can grow the beard.
I don't know about 12 years, 12 you, but I think 14, 16. That's where you start seeing that.
Some have, like, full freaking mustaches.
That's true. That's true.
And the hockey of course, the hockey hair, man, we went through the mullet phase with our 12U, and that thing was awful, awful. No disrespect to any kids having 'em have mullets. I had a mullet in 1988, but man, those things are just awful. I get it. It's hockey's thing, cool, whatever, rock the mullet.
Well, here's a tradition for you. I don't know if you know this, but at the Minnesota State High School Hockey Championship, they actually have a hockey hair competition. And if you've not seen clips of this on YouTube, and the guys that are in this competition will skate out on the ice without their helmets on, and they've got the flow flowing, and you will see some very interesting hockey hairstyles at that event.
All of our 18, of course, he was 17 at the time, they had all the long scraggly hair and everything, and then, one day I walked in the sunroom, we have a sunroom off our back patio, and we have a detached garage, it also has its own patio, and all the boys are out there at the patio. I'm like, "What are they doing out there? What's going on out there?" There's a few hockey players. What do they have in their hand? They were buzzing, everybody was getting a buzz cut. All of them, the whole team was getting a buzz cut, and they were
Yeah,
just
at the end of the season.
and they all got they had this full hockey hair, the alpaca hair, and completely buzzed it. A couple days later, they got some god awful hair dye. It looked terrible, but they it was for hockey.
And it was a fun thing. They did it over the summer. So yeah, I think that's probably becoming another kind of newer tradition for especially that older age group.
All right, and then let's talk about your new players, your old players, the rookie lap, the final lap. I guess they give the honor. I'm familiar with the final lap. Are you talking about like a senior night final lap, or is this something else for the NHL?
Well, I think the NHL does this. They have a rookie lap when a new player or a player that's never played before will do that initial lap around the ice. But we, as youth hockey players and youth hockey parents, we had a senior this year and they did what's called a final lap. And I believe they do that in the NHL for someone who's about to retire. They take that last lap around the ice before or after their last game. We did this year during senior night. We saw it a couple of other programs did the same for their senior night where the player just goes out, skates around. It gives the crowd and the fans a moment to pay their respects to that individual by clapping thanks for joining our team and playing hard over the time that they were with the team.
We had something similar at the Whispering Wills roller rink back in Bardstown in 1987 when they had birthday parties there. If it was Michael's 10th birthday, I'd strap on my He-Man skates. Shout out to He-Man, my guy. And the birthday kid would get to skate a circle by themselves to whatever song they get to pick out. And of course, happy birthday. So this is very similar like that, right? I mean,
Oh yeah, definitely. And the scary thing is this is the second time, at least the second time within our episodes you have referenced the roller skating rink you went to as a child.
and my He-Man skates.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
let's be honest, that's the closest I've ever gotten to any type of skating glory whatsoever. My kid is a state champion, my youngest is a, double A hockey player. Me, I could roller skate, so that's where I'm at.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
But
well,
so
speaking of championships, let's talk about the hardware.
great transition
S
from, my son
Yeah.
roller skates to, yes, our kids are champions, and let's talk about champions. Go.
So there is the longstanding NHL tradition of don't touch the hardware until you've won it. That's one of those superstitions or bad luck kind of things. You're not supposed to touch the cup until you've won it. And then once you win it, you hoist it. Typically, it's the captain first. They raise that Stanley Cup up over their head and skate around the ice. And you'll see this at different tournaments and state tournament, national tournament, those kinds of things. The players will grab whatever that trophy or that award is and hold it up over their head and skate around.
Huge right now, the World Cup's going on. They have similar traditions. There's a huge controversy right now about a certain I'm not gonna get into political talk right now, but there's a certain exception for someone to raise the trophy this year that's really gotten people in a tizzy. So if you, read up on that tradition, there are lots of traditions, and this is one of them. I did remember hearing about not touching the state cup when it was, being displayed at the rink, and okay, I guess,
Yeah.
yeah, don't do it.
Well, and then to further that, there's the drinking from the Stanley Cup. Of course, NHL players, adults, they will have a tradition of, I think it started with drinking champagne from the cup, but I'm pretty sure there have been other beverages in there that have been consumed. But I think that's something else that, as we were going through some of the championship stuff this year, the boys were talking about eating Chipotle off of the Chipotle National Championship awards and things along those lines. It kind of carries down from the NHL into youth hockey.
Read the Wikipedia on the Stanley Cup. It's fascinating. It has a great history, and then the stuff they do with this thing, I mean, they're yeah, to Tangel's point, they're drinking out of it. I've seen kids or players put their, like, newborns inside the bowl, taking the pictures. No telling what else they've done with that thing, and personally, our kid again, our son, they won the state championship. It had a cup atop the state championship, and we were at a party for the championship, and it took every fiber of my being not to pour a Bush Light in that thing and chug out of it.
Gross.
Wait, gross because I'm drinking out of that cup or gross because I'm drinking a Bush Light? Which one?
Both, both. It's disgusting either way you look at it.
I think if your kid's young, he's like 12 you and he gets a little cup and you're chugging beers out of it, you might have an alcohol problem.
Yeah, exactly. Let the kid have some Gatorade in the cup, I guess, would probably be a better option.
Alright, now let's get to our players. God almighty, every major sports, players are superstitious as hell, and we even briefly talked about this in some episodes. I think we talked about it in the goalie episode, certainly with Shauna. What are some of the player superstitions and rituals?
I think the players have everything from they tape their stick a certain way. We talked about that in the tape episode and probably a few other times. They have rituals of putting on their gear. How do they put their gear on? How do they put it back in the bag? They wear the same shirt or they wear the same socks or the same underwear. These players at any level get into these habits of maybe eating the same food before the game or having the same color Gatorade. All of those things turn into rituals, which then may or may not become superstitions.
I'll share a few stories. Ovechkin, I watched a piece on him, and he talks about how he tapes his own stick, and he has a ritual that he tapes his own stick every game. I'm a big fan of Shorzy. Shorzy's ritual, he uses the bathroom before each game and in between periods, and when I say before the bathroom, he's standing at the toilet. We have a parent reach out to us. Her child is a goalie, a girl goalie, and she had 2 beef jerkies before game, had a shutout, so guess what she's doing before every game now? She's having a couple
Having two two beef jerkies.
Slim Jim. So and then, of course, with the clothing and with the jerseys, the famous story, this not hockey related, but the famous story, Michael Jordan went to UNC Charlotte, of course, the powder blue or whatever the hell blue, North Carolina blue. He wore those shorts under every single game for the Bulls and the Wizards. We won't talk about that career, but he wore those shorts under every single game when he was a Bull, and every once in a while, you could see it in photos, that little blues peeking out of that Bulls red. So, yes, players have rituals players have superstitions, and these are good examples of them.
Right. And I think talking about that clothing, there is a ritual for a lot of hockey players to not wash their jersey. If they're on a streak or something, they won't wash their jersey. And yeah, I think that's kind of gross, but it's definitely one of those things.
Well, best based on the, smell of our kids' hockey bags, they must be on a hell of a winning streak because those things never be anywhere near remotely pleasant at all or tolerable.
Which leads me to talk about the post game or the post practice quote marinade in the locker room.
Yeah, I don't know what that I saw you put marinade. I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking marinade, I'm, like, pouring a bottle of Italian dressing into a bag of
Yeah. So you've never heard, especially our oldest, say, you ask him why takes him so long to get out of the locker room. He's in there marinating.
go
He's
on.
just sitting in his gear,
Oh,
soaking it up.
I'm sitting in my
Yeah.
car.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess that's
Essentially.
God, I don't get you hockey players. I can't imagine, like, fighting a fire and then getting back to the firehouse and then just sitting in the locker room in my funky, stinky gear. I can't get that stuff off quick enough.
Well, clearly your son's not built that way.
I want
But some other I was gonna say some other locker room rituals or superstitions. Sometimes the players will have a logo or a sign that they will tap on their way out of the locker room to a game. And then sometimes there's a logo in the locker room that's a do not touch. It's bad luck if you touch this logo. So I think it just depends on your team, your locker room, and how that works.
Yeah, those logos on the locker room floor can be huge and pretty much take up most of the floor. So you see these poor hockey players kinda two-stepping around these things not to step on it because it's bad luck, which in my head, I'm like, "Damn it, you put the logo in the wrong spot if these players are gonna step on it because now they're, like, hugging the wall to get to their locker." It's ridiculous, but I understand it a little bit.
It's one of I mean, and you and I both know that at colleges and universities, there's sometimes a logo, the college you went to, the college I went to, there's a logo on a sidewalk somewhere that supposedly if you step on it, that's gonna be bad luck.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Um,
Shout out to
yeah, so it expands beyond the hockey locker room.
good thing that I have it when I was there. A few drinks in me, I'd probably pee in the middle of the thing.
Jeez. Anyways, let's see, what other kind of
The goalie.
superstitions?
So,
Yeah,
real quick,
goalie superstitions.
let's jump back real quick. I wanna talk about we were talking about the championships earlier. You missed one thing that we've seen tons of, and I'm gonna demo it here on the video. Ready?
Biting the metal.
Bite the
Yeah.
medals. It's you see the pictures, people post the pictures of their championship, their kids winning, they're out on the ice, the trophy's in the middle, they all got the medal, and they're biting it. So they just are you testing the quality of it, or what are you doing?
I think that's the old Olympic tradition of the gold. You know, you bite gold to see if it's real. I think that was one of those like 1800s, early 1900s things.
Stuff
And
in a
then you get the gold medal
pawn
at the
shop.
Olympics. You what?
I'm thinking of a pawn shop like, "Oh, this is fool's gold. This is, zirconium. This isn't diamond." That's what I think. I think they're testing to make sure the material's legit, and dear God, some of these tournaments cheap out on those metals. Be careful when you bite it, you'll probably tear it in half.
Well, I think at this point it's just tradition. They're not testing the quality of the metal.
Absolutely. Alright, and now let's talk about our quirkiest players. You love them. 'Em, they're weird. They are the
And
la
we respect them. That's why they get to go first.
and we absolutely respect them. We got the goalies. What are their rituals?
Oh my gosh, goalies have a lot of rituals. I think one of the rituals that I've heard of a lot is they talk to their post. They talk to the goal. They're there by themselves. Well, the plays on the other end of the ice. They're going to chat with their post. If you hear that ping, which is the best sound a goalie can hear of a puck going off the post, thank your post.
And we actually did this. We mic'd up our goalie Chase, back to episode 4 or 5 or whatever it was, goalie Chase. We mic'd him up, and holy cow, it was fascinating. I'm sure you put that in front of a therapist, they might have a little questions about what's going on up in the head. Not to say Chase is wild or
It's
anything. I think
It's
that's
self-therapy. Yeah, it's self-therapy. You're talking to yourself. No, I think that's fascinating, and if you do get the chance to mic up a goalie, I think we didn't do that in a game, it was in a practice, but it was still a lot of fun. We've mic'd up a few players since then too. You might do that when they're younger, because when they get older, the language gets pretty salty.
but yeah, Sam's got worse and worse. It would make a sailor blush. Another thing I see with the goalies, and I know they're not thirsty. They get scored on, they're grabbing that water and take a little drink.
Yeah, a
That's a
again,
nervous tick, in my opinion. That's totally a nervous tick. They're not thirsty.
Yeah, absolutely, and again, I think that's where it's a ritual. So they get scored on, they turn around, they take a drink to kinda reset. There was also a, Instagram Reels or TikTok series at one point kind of naming goalies, and and they would show like a quick video of a goalie, and they called him Two Tap Tommy because he tapped each post twice before he got set. There was another one like something about making a lap. So instead of maybe taking a drink of water, they make a lap around the goal. There's all sorts of little goalie rituals, but I think a lot of that is to mentally reset. But there are some other weird goalie things of you gotta have the right under gear, you gotta have the same pair of socks. And that sometimes that extends into the fan superstitions as well.
Are we there yet? Rinks and road trips. Angela, I know there's some other player superstitions, game superstitions before we get to the fans. What are we missing here?
Yeah, I think that some players have some really interesting superstitions around how they enter the ice, how they get on the ice. And during warmups, they have maybe a situation where they take their first shot and they have to make their first shot in warmups. And if they miss their first shot in warmups, then oh my gosh, now it's going to be a bad game. That's one of those weird superstitions.
I gotta imagine if you're getting on the ice and you have a ritual, if you trip through that door, you probably just want to sit the entire game.
Yeah, you messed up your ritual. But speaking of warm-ups and rituals, as well as I do, both of our kids have very specific pregame rituals that they will do kind of in that open warm-up time. And you can watch them and they will do the same thing over and over. And I've gotten to the point where I watch some of the other kids and start picking up on their rituals and what they do during that warm-up time. And sometimes that's making some passes with a certain player. You and your bestie are out there and they make so many passes between each other. Our oldest does the thing where he's taking the puck on the end of the stick and tossing it up in the air and bouncing it around, those kinds of things. Just certain stretching rituals you'll see. And those turn into superstitions. It goes from, oh my gosh, I forgot to do X in my warm up routine and I had a great game. Now I'm never going to do that again, kind of thing.
This is my favorite part of the game, especially with our 18-year-old, is watching him from the time he gets on the ice up until the puck drops because I do see those rituals. But also, I see the peace and the calmness in his face when he's juggling that puck out there. He always skates out to the blue line by himself, juggles the puck. His eyes are on the puck, and you can see the concentration and the love of the game. And that's my favorite part. Also, before he gets on the ice, he stands at the door and greets every one of his players with a fist bump. And then he does some type of like, I don't know,
Little
thing
dance routine, little cheer.
the ice with like another player. So it's great. I love it. And then let's go back to the goalie and even the player a little bit. What's something you don't say? Second period, third period, the score's 3-0, your team's up. What are you not saying?
You don't ever say the S word. And I'm not talking about not talking about that one. You don't say the word shut out. Don't speak it aloud, don't think it. Just continue to watch the game.
It's just like in baseball. If a pitcher is in the eighth inning and has a no hitter going, you can see him. He's on the bench. Granted, the goalie doesn't have this luxury. He's on the bench by himself. Nobody's talking to him. Nobody's looking at him. And at home and around, you're not saying it. I've done it twice. I've ruined 2 games. Henry and I have turned on 2 baseball games that were in a no-hitter in the 8th inning, and I text my buddies, we have a text thread, and I'm like, "Hey, turn on the Dodgers game. Yamamoto's got a no-hitter going in the ninth, and damned if a home run didn't happen right next." That actually happened this week, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, so don't say shut out, and then the other thing
Wait,
is
I have a question for you. So, again,
okay.
we're very proud of our son's state championship. In that state championship game, our goalie Chase, again, back to Chase, 38 shots on goal, none in. He pitched a shutout. Any of you in the crowd, did you say shutout at any?
No, we did not. I do not recall anyone saying that. I think there were a couple of like we looked at each other and we like it was the head nod, the look at each
Unspoken.
other, acknowledged, but the word never escaped anyone's mouth.
Let's say I'm there and I walk over to Sean and I say, and it's, I don't know, 10 minutes left in the third period. I say, "Hey, he's got a shot going. This is pretty good, right?"
Yeah, you might get punched in the nose.
All right.
You be careful with that kind of thing. You don't say that. Here's one other one though. We talked about hat trick earlier. So if a player's got 2 goals in a game, don't mention the fact that they're getting close to a hat trick. That can also change the vibe, change the mojo. So
Oh,
don't mention anything until it's happened. That's it goes back to that don't touch the trophy until you've won the trophy kind of thing.
so if my kid has 2 goals and he's on a breakaway, it's not good for me to go reach for my hat to get ready to chunk onto the ice.
Yeah, correct. Correct.
Pump the brakes and shut up.
Exactly. Shut up until it happens.
Okay, so again, we scored the victory, and inevitably, your home team, you have a victory song. What was ours? It was so stupid.
So I think both of our kids and their team, and I've heard a lot of hockey teams use this song, "The Party in the USA"
Bye.
by Miley Cyrus.
So I stepped off the plane at LAX with my cat. I'm like,
Yes. I mean, they will come out of the
and
locker
lift
room
up,
with
sing
the
a song.
portable
That's
yes.
my way. Got in my head like, yeah.
Okay, again, we don't need to lose followers, please stop singing.
I'm
You
so
are not Miley Cyrus.
that's actually made it. So that's just not our kid. That's other kids. I don't.
Yeah, I've seen this with, various teams.
I gotta wonder if Miley Cyrus knows that youth hockey teams have adopted her song, or let's be honest, lame song as a victory party for teenage boys. It's incredible. So yes,
Yeah,
parents out there, download "Party in the USA" by Miley Cyrus, introduce it to your teams, and that can be their victory song. And trust me, we've been to tournaments in like Michigan, full packed lobbies, and our kids come out. And of course, you always have that kid that has the speaker on a dolly, and they are cranking Miley Cyrus "Party in the USA."
and dancing the whole way behind it.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, it's quite hysterical, but it's also a lot of fun, and when that song kicks on, that the boys get excited. But I do wanna talk about another song, another kind of, obscure song that is linked to the St. Louis Blues. So, I actually listened to a podcast, I believe, on this, a while back. The 2019 St. Louis Blues really, latched on to the song "Gloria."
I
Do you remember that song?
I do by Laura Branigan.
Yeah, and
Gloria, na, 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 Gloria. Yes,
okay,
very
again,
familiar.
let's stop singing. But no, I that for some reason, they played this song in the locker room after a game or something, or somehow this song became attached and the team latched onto that song, and they were playing it in the arena, they were playing it in the locker room, they were playing it at the bars around the arena, and it became their song in that championship run.
You see that all over sports, but especially in hockey, they adopt that one song, and it's never like the current song. It's never like a famous. It's just some lame. I don't want to say Laura Branigan's lame by any means, and I like Miley Cyrus. I mean, she has some good songs out there, but just these songs that they adopt. Our son's team, 12U, when they score, they play the guitar riff of Freebird, where the breakdown, where the
Yeah.
Freebird. And one day we were in the car listening to Freebird, and Freebird starts out super slow. I'm like, "Hey, you know the song, Henry?" And he's like, "Nope, this is a song you guys play when you score." "No, it's not." I go, "Wait," and it's a long song. I was like, "Wait for about 5 minutes from now, you'll hear it." And he heard it, he goes, "Oh, yeah, there it is." I go, "Yeah, it's a super long song, but that breakdown is pretty cool." So let's shift our attention from the players over to us fans. And I'll be honest, fan superstitions, I have none. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe,
Yeah.
until I identify it and you don't even realize it's your ritual.
Right, and yes or no as you go through these, the same seat in the rink. Are you a same seater?
I tend to go to the same area in a rink. My go-to seat in the rink is on the blue line on our team side,
And then, of course, hockey dads, their spot is on the
on the
glass,
boards. Yeah.
frost. And then what about the food and drink? Are you getting the same nachos with the cheese each game and a coffee, or you're doing the Starbucks?
I mean, I'm not, and it depends on the game time. I mean, if it's an early morning game, I usually have a coffee in my hand, and if it's a later in the evening game, I usually have some adult beverage in my hand.
But are you doing
But
that because I gotta have coffee, otherwise they're not gonna win?
no, I'm not that, superstitious, but I know there are a lot of fans that are, particularly in those upper level, the NHL games, the college games. There are fans that are like, "Hey, I gotta get to the arena early because I gotta get it in line and get my bucket of popcorn and my 2 Miller Lights," or whatever, and that's their tradition, that's their ritual, and it becomes a superstition.
Yeah, my superstition is if I don't have coffee before game, I'm just gonna be a tired little bitch during the game and drowsy as hell.
And you may still be a tired little bitch with the coffee.
That's why I have a good couple of coffees. Same gear? Are you wearing the same gear? Like this, "Okay, I gotta wear this jacket. Sam and them won the game last week. I better wear this again."
I do not, but there are definitely parents that do. In fact, one of my favorite parents has a special pair of socks that they wear to hockey games.
Is this parent by chance a, parent of a senior?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Is she gonna retire these socks now that it's over, or is they carry on to college again?
I'm not sure. Well, I'll have to ask her about that. But yeah, there's definitely, I think, parent and fan superstitions, and you've got to wear the same hoodie to the game. And I know I think there have been times where, hey, we're at a tournament, our team's on a streak. I've worn this hoodie the last 3 games, and they've won those 3 games. I got to wear that hoodie to the next game.
And then, I don't do this either, chants and cheers. I mean, other than "Go Norse," "Go Sam," I mean, I'm not doing the "Rah Rah, Sis Boom Bah," or, whatever the other.
I know you don't, but there are other fans and other teams that have particular chants or cheers that they will do in the stands as kind of that superstition. Hey, when we chant this, the team really comes out and plays well.
Alright. Uh,
Let me point out one superstition, and this doesn't have to do with hockey, but it's still a fan superstition. So, how many times have you gotten upset with me that I have taken the Miami Dolphins flag off the front of the house at Christmas time because I'm putting up Christmas decorations, and you're like, "But you took the Dolphins flag down and now they're losing."
the Dolphins secured a playoff spot. I don't know how many years it was since they had a playoff before that, but they secured a playoff spot when my flag was on the house. Angela took it off the house, and this was in December. We had already secured a spot, and the team hasn't been the same since, and we're in, 2 or 3 years later.
Yeah.
The
So you can't say you don't have any superstitions because I got 2 tons of shit for taking down the Dolphins flag to hang up holiday decorations.
And this is sort of me too, it's on your list. If you weren't watching when we scored, you don't get to watch anymore. And I've talked about my nervous walks. So when the kids are down or they're losing or you're up and there's 3 minutes left, I'm gonna take a walk. And that walk might be outside. And I did this in a game at Northern Kentucky. They were getting beat by a team that was not as good as them. They should have beat the shit out of this team. And I got up and took a walk. And I got that text from you or Shauna that said, our kids just scored like it was like 5 goals after like 10, 20 minutes. Don't come back. And basically, you
Yeah.
guys told me to go home. And so I walked I walked the rest
Exactly.
2 miles from the rink, but I walked the rest of the way home and sat down and waited till you got home. I was told not to come back, and I was fine with it because a little bit of superstition to me was like, when I was there, they were losing. When I left, they, dropped 5 on them.
Right, and then there's those times when we're watching a live feed and like, "Hey, they're playing great," and you open up the live feed and then they start playing like trash, and you are like, "Oh, forget it, I'm gonna close the the live feed," and then they may turn it around. So I think you have a lot of those superstitions that maybe you don't think they're superstitions, but they are.
Yeah, they're subconscious superstitions.
Right, right. So I want to throw out one of the NHL superstitions that I recently learned about and I find incredibly odd and interesting
Recently you didn't know about
is
that?
no, I didn't know about this.
Okay, so NHL tradition, it's been going on for a while. Angela, what is it?
The Detroit octopus toss,
Yeah.
which is the most bizarre thing. Why would you have an octopus in Detroit? I don't think there are any octopi swimming around in the Great Lakes.
Hey, Angela, we gotta get going. The puck drops in 30 minutes. Make sure you get my, coat, my hat, and the dead octopus in the freezer. Are you taking that thing through security at the gate? I mean, so much stuff going on here.
Yeah, there's so many questions about this, and the only thing I really know it has something to do with 8 wins to a Stanley Cup victory, and, it's become their tradition, and dead octopus on the ice is just baffles me.
I gotta think that the, octopus industry in Detroit has taken a dive lately because Detroit Red Wings are not good, but yeah. And then, like, cleaning it up, and what do you do with them? And
You know, like, what do you do with this gross little octopus that got thrown on the ice?
imagine
I don't know, there's so many questions there, and for that to be such a well-known superstition, it just cracks me up.
so stupid.
Well, hey, to all of our Detroit fans, keep trying or maybe try something else. Let's move from an octopus to a squid.
And to that
Uh,
guy to that guy at the farmer's market in Detroit who has a octopus stand, you had your moment.
it's gotta be the fishmonger that's providing the octopus.
Let's get to life moves pretty fast. So we've covered some good superstitions and rituals. What's your reflection on this episode?
I think it's fun because you will watch your player as you watch your player and maybe some of those teammates that they've played with for years upon years, you will get to know what their routine is, what their pre-warm-up ritual is. We talked about that a little bit earlier. It's really interesting to watch those evolve and develop. It's just a lot of fun. I think it's fun to figure out some of those goalie superstitions and the goalie things, and it makes the game fun to watch. You take a look and you're like, Chase forgot to, he didn't do his 2 taps or whatever, and you just kind of watch that and have fun with it.
And then watch other teams, and you're gonna be like, "Aha, that's their ritual. I see what they're doing there." Or you hear a song that you haven't heard in a long time. Wait, are they playing Wham? Is that "Wake Me Up Before You Go"? Why are they playing that? Oh, that's their victory song. Okay, I can get with that. Yeah, just look out for the quirks. You're gonna see it.
Yeah,
It
look out for the quirks, but also don't take it too seriously.
that's
Have fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, Wham's a good band, but don't make fun of the kids for playing it. Tip of the week, Ansel, what do you got?
That kind of goes back to what I just said. Don't let the superstitions take over, but definitely have those rituals. And I think these rituals, you alluded to it earlier, can be really good for their mental game and their mental prep for the game. If they have that thing that they do and it helps them dial in, I think that's fantastic. I am not a sports psychologist by any means, but I definitely think that is one of those good things and to develop that habit to really put yourself in the game and prepare.
And I think as a parent, don't force it. Don't be like,
Right.
"Hey, you should start a ritual or or wear this shirt every game." Don't let it occur naturally, and if they forget that undergarment, if they forget that sock, do your best to get it to them, but don't acknowledge that you gotta have it or must have it because you're just setting them up for mentally failing. So, just let them handle all of this by themselves, and then you're winking and nodding when you see them do it on the ice, but you're not forcing it, you're not making them come up with something, just let them do it on their own naturally.
Yeah, I think that's great. They will kind of like I said, just develop that over time. I think it's great, but don't get too serious about it or point out, hey, you forgot to do such and such, and you really suck today. That's not a great way to go about it.
No, your sock was stuck in the washer. No wonder you let 4 goals in.
Exactly. Don't go that route, but I do think it is good psychologically to dial into the game, kind of get that mental preparation.
All right, let's get us to our outro here. I'm gonna do a small business shout out real quick. We didn't have one of these last week, but I do have one this week. It's called Pro Mentor Me, PROMentorme.com. And this is a platform designed to connect young athletes, such as your kids, with mentors who have played the game. Boy, this could have been helpful for us, Angela.
Yeah.
Direct messaging, it progresses your tracking. So you actually have like a mentor who has been in youth hockey, who has been beyond that to actually work with your child to walk them through being a better player. Certainly, Angela and I could have used this for our kids. Clearly, they turned out fine, but it would have been nice to have a little bit of help along the way outside of the rink. So check out promentorme.com. They're also on Instagram and get your one-on-one mentorship from a pro hockey player. Angela, give us a tease of our next episode.
Our next episode, we're going to have a special guest, a hockey official, referee.
Hockey official, bad call.
No, no, no. We're going to learn all about what it's like to be a referee, what it takes to be a ref. And I think it should be a pretty fun episode.
I'm sorry, are we doing this via Zoom video?
Yes.
Is it really necessary because the ref can't see?
Jeez. Please don't give him a hard time. He's agreed to come on our show. We're not going to give the ref a hard time. We're just going to find out what it's like to be a ref and what it's like to deal with the kids on the ice and the parents off the ice.
All right, especially us parents off the ice. Angela, close us out.
Well, we appreciate everyone listening. Please follow, subscribe, and share. It really helps us out. Leave a comment or question on whatever platform you're listening on. We also have active accounts on Facebook and Instagram.
We've broke 10,000 downloads, which is incredible. We've had 300 followers on Spotify. I think we get more of our streams on Apple Podcasts, but we're also available on iHeart. We're also available on Amazon Music and YouTube. So please, I ask you to share this with everyone in your rink. Again, we'll be represented at the Queen City Hockey Expo in Buffalo, New York on August 9th. So check it out. You might find something in your goodie bag from the old pucked up parents. We have merchandise tag to the top of our page. I actually wore the shirt yesterday and spilt a greasy hamburger on it, so that's probably ruined.
What is your deal with spilling stuff on your shirt?
I don't know. I need a bib or apron or something. I'm like a flipping toddler when I eat food. And so, like, listen, follow, and share, comment, give us your feedback. The feedback has been incredible. I really appreciate it. Angela appreciates it. So hit us up. Feel free to. And like we say every week, keep your stick on the ice. We are all in this together. Thank you.
Up before dawn, can't feel my face. Coffee spilling all over the place. Forgot the sticks, we're turning around. Another weekend in some hot